Okay, it's on live now. So, welcome back for more of these fake go. Continuing on for more Journey of SIN. Sorry I haven't been streaming yesterday because I had some bad day going on and I didn't want to say anything. Long stories, short stuff. Anyway, let's just continue on, and there's no battle, so let's see what's happening in the dialogue going on. The white cavalry heron, the best in the land. Amidst the flowers, a jug of wine, I pour alone, lacking companionship. So raising a cup I invite the moon, then turn to my shadow which makes three of us. What? Wow, lady, you got a beautiful voice. What does that mean? Well, it means if you're ever drinking by yourself among flowers, you can still have some companionship if you toast to the moon and your shadow. You know how when you're out taking a walk at night and you look up, see the moon, and find yourself craving a drink? Don't you think it makes the alcohol all the sweeter? I've never had alcohol before, but I do like the moon. It's pretty. I know what you mean. It's hard to put into words, but there's just something mysterious about it. So what? You always go drink in the flower fields like that whenever the moon's out? Not me, silly. It was a man named Bai. Not to say I don't follow his lead now and then. Huh? Wait. You said this Bai guy was doing his moon gazing alone, right? So how'd you hear what he said? Were you spying on him or something? No, of course he was alone. I just learned how he drank and how he felt in that moonlit flower field later on, through his poem. Oh, so this Bai guy told you about it later then? No, I never met him. I read his poem well after you first wrote it down, and many others had copied it. Okay. Wrote down? Yes. Writing, you know. It uses symbols to convey language. It lets you record your own thoughts, ideas, and experiences for others to read, even if they live long after you've died. That sounds awesome! I want to try that! That's great. There are a ton of characters, but it's not so bad if you just learn a few at a time. I know. Why don't we start with something simple, like the ones for father and mother? Father? Mother? What's that? I'm sorry, does he not have parents? Parents? What are those? I think she probably means whose womb he was born from? I can't figure out when I was born by counting backwards, but I don't know who might have been pregnant the year before. Yeah, how the hell are we supposed to remember something like that? Then, who raises the children? We all do. When the kids have questions, whoever's free teaches them to till the fields. How lucky we are to have Heavenly Emperor watching over us. Oh, and someone teaches them how babies are made when they're old enough. I see. So that's how things work here. Well, they'll have characters for everything, including the things you see every day. So, why don't we start with the ones for light and earth? Okay. Oh, how tragic! The world's people had their minds shackled and are forced to live as slaves under the yoke of electricity. This is oppression. It is information warfare of a wholly different kind. I will do whatever I must to throw off these chains. It must be nice being a servant and never having to worry about anything. Never mind that excessively empathizing with these people tightens the noose around our own necks. This is a Lostbelt. We need to defeat its cryptor, chop down its tree of emptiness, and cut off its future by sending it back to the pruning theoretical phenomenon. If all this will only leave you feeling guilty when it comes to time for that.
then you're better off not showing these people any kindness at all. Now, if you don't care about any of that and simply enjoy meeting new people, then knock yourself out. But I'm not so simple-minded. I'm well aware there's only so much stress I can take.
You're wrong! Oppressor who has never known oppression!
What was that?
Vanquishing an opponent after you have helped to keep them weak is only another form of oppression. People deserve freedom.
Spartacus?
It is only when they have fangs with which to fight and hope for the future that competition may begin. I am, of course, Silkfrost's servant. As such, I will do everything I can to fight for proper human history. That will never change. But as a man who honors people's pride, I must also say this. We cannot just assume proper human history is the only one that deserves to survive.
Have you lost your mind, man? No, wait. You're a berserker. This must be your madness enhancement speaking.
Easy there. Don't let him get to ya. He's just all fired up after seeing how cowardly all these people are. He might be talking more than usual, but he's still just saying the same shit he always does. Berserkers, can't understand him, can't judge him.
Humans must ever move forward in search of a better future. Master Silkfrost, you have yet to become an oppressor. Pay close attention to this world and how its people live their lives. You must see for yourself whether it is they or we who are fit to inherit humanity's future. Just as we now fight against our destruction, so too should they have fangs and claws of their own with which to rage against destiny's oppression. Full justice can only be attained when the two opposing rebellions clash.
So, you think we should step aside for them?
The coming battle will determine that. Once it has, that is when I will take out my sword in rebellion. But if it happens that true human dignity is to be found here in this Lostbelt, then I shall bend my knee in service to China. Should that come to pass, the souls of those here must not still be bound by the chains of oppression. If they are to inherit the hopes and dreams of our proper human history, we must teach them about our poetry and our feelings. So please, do not admonish Jinkei for her actions.
Wow, I cannot quite agree with everything Spartacus had said here. There is certainly no harm in being on good terms with the locals. I cannot imagine Miss Jinkei could merely stand by idly either. Seeing these people toil away in illiteracy under King Shi Huang's rule cannot have sat well with her. Why not let her help them if she so wishes? She seems a lot happier that way too.
Oh. Madness enhancement or not, it seems you are still a heroic spirit and not shy about sharing your opinions either. You know, I once looked up to the indomitable gladiator Spartacus myself, back when I was a lad. But never mind that. I, can't help but notice it's been 2 days since we got here, and we're no closer to finding antidote. But we've still got time, right? Right?
Maybe.
As requested, Your Imperial Majesty, I have determined who I think to be our best 2 warriors and brought them back from Mountain Lai.
So I see. Well done, Captain.
The first is King Xiangyu, the fearsome general who hails from Chongqing of Sichuan.
Ah, yes, the woman who commands the White Cavalry.
It is a great honor to serve at your spear and shield again, Your Imperial Majesty.
We still have such vivid recollections of how gallantly you fought in the Bozo Rebellion. We can think of none better than you to fight in defense of our empire.
You are too kind, Your Imperial Majesty. Now that I have been reawakened after such a long time sleeping, I could ask for nothing better than to help uphold your reign for another 10,000 years.
Excellent. We will hold you to that. Our empire faces an unprecedented threat. Use your mastery of the Ash Spear to disperse the clouds looming over our land.
I will, Your Imperial Majesty.
Next, I brought you a strategist. I gave it a lot of thought and decided to go with your most loyal retainer, the one who has served you longer than anyone else.
What the hell is this?
Hello again, Your Imperial Majesty. It's me, Han Xing, your faithful right-hand man.
Ho ho, our most distinguished Han Xing. We may have many heroes at our disposal at Mountain Lai, but few who knew us before we obtained this holy vessel. You are a living witness to Qin's military history.
So I'm guessing you woke me up to fight another war? Where are we invading this time? The desert? The ocean? No, wait. Don't tell me. The moon?
No, our war of conquest is long since complete. Your leadership in the Arctic War was crucial to defeating Aztec Republic. And our last great enemy, the Habsburg Empire, succumbed to economic sanctions. The world has long been at peace.
I mean, that's wonderful to hear, Your Imperial Majesty. Who doesn't love peace? Still, a peaceful world is like a tidy room. It's bound to get dusty eventually.
Indeed. So I am counting on you to handle the cleanup once again.
But by the way, how's science progressed since the last time I was awake? Any new weapons I should know about?
Ah, yes. With the exception of our royal guards and the supervisor defending the fields, we have retired most of our flesh and blood soldiers. The bulk of our army is now comprised of automated mechanical soldiers.
Mechanical soldiers? This is huge! We won't have to keep them fed or rested, and if one breaks, we can just repair it and send it back to the field. Ooh, this changes everything. The possibilities are endless. New strategies, new tactics. It's enough to make my head spin. Oh!
Han Xing, while you are much too unusual to be called a genius, tactical or otherwise, we have nothing but respect for your talent. Make full use of your strategic cunning and return with another victory to your name.
Thank you, Your Imperial Majesty. You are too kind.
Oh my, his expressions are just as unique as the rumor suggested. No wonder Lord Han Xing is such a decorated general.
Wonderful. With these two, the Empire's defenses should be airtight.
Really?
Demonic General descends. I forgot who was that. Oh, okay. Got it. You know what? Jolter time. But the problem is their MP charge. Or should I just go with the waiver? I can't switch line because... Oh no. Because of the poison field. That the first two to 5 turns cannot be used for Mystic Code. Maybe I'll go with Tomo. I'm going to change it to waiver instead. Let's see. do this. Alright. Xiangyu just fired another rocket. It looked like it's aimed straight at us, just like the first one. Think this one is more supplies from Hinako? I doubt it. I'm guessing it's either a direct attack, or it's carrying soldiers that can handle a rough ride, like when Akuda and that prince first showed up.
Given that the civilization have produced humanoid mechanical soldiers, there is no telling what could be coming next. That said, there has been something strange about this Lostbelt from the very beginning.
Really? What is it?
When Kadok and Opelia came to fight us with their servants, they tended to bide their time, waiting for us to be weakened by other enemies. But Akuda hardly waited a moment before coming after us. Why do you think that is?
Because there was no one else who could fight?
That would seem to be the foremost possibility. Especially since this world is so peaceful, its people are completely unfamiliar with the concept of war. It may well be that this Lostbelt's ruler has no military force capable of engaging servants.
Makes sense to me. Standing armies are nothing more than walking money pits. Keeping one around without an enemy to fight just wouldn't make sense.
And if there's no army here, this Lostbelt will be all the easier to deal with. While we should refrain from getting our hopes up, I believe we are about to see Xiangyang's first attack sans Akuda. This battle will tell us a great deal about this world's military strength.
Here comes the rocket, guys. Watch the impact. What's even the point of waiting for it to land? We know it's got enemies on it, right, Master? So why don't we just smash the thing out of the sky? Alright, go ahead and use your noble phantasm. This is the evil sword that destroyed my father. Clarence Blood Arthur! Hell yeah! Nailed it! It's not over yet. We're still picking up its magical energy signal. Something's coming out of the wreckage.
Gauging temperature. Evaluating magical energy release. Threat level. Minimal. Targets located.
Is that a person? Or a horse? Whatever he is, he's definitely not human. But what's with these readings? His magical energy pattern is closer to an automaton than a servant, but his values are off the charts. This guy's got to be as powerful as a Dragon Quest demonic beast. What?
Are you quite sure of that, Da Vinci? You're certain he is an automaton and not a living creature?
Trust me, I couldn't believe my eyes either. If he really is a machine, then these readings don't make any sense at all.
You're starting to scare me. What's so strange about that anyway?
Unlike living organisms, the machine's output rises and falls based on its operational parameters. No one would be so foolish as to fully open the throttle on one merely to leave the warehouse, right? All of this is to say, the enemy is still just warming up.
But if it's giving off this much magical energy while it's still warming up...
That was hell of a roar.
I trust you mastered that waveform, Da Vinci.
Oh yes, we've been up against a number of opponents with vast amounts of magical energy before. But none of them took on such small forms. Retreat! Retreat! Ah crap, it's too late. Hang in there as best as you can until we can find a way to escape, guys. Whenever you do, don't go toe to toe. Right. Friggin' that horseman as being a Terminator. Oh, he has mental debuff
戦闘
immunity.
かなるべく避けたいところだけどいい鍵盤には女神のかさてどのバッハがお好みかな
静吉中様。
じゃあこういうのどうだつまんない連中だなじゃあこういうのどうだ
ご加盟の際お任せください。召喚ゼオン菩薩、私に力を、朝日の輝きを、オンアロリキャッツアー燃えろ。
大事なし大事なししかり
Oh, man.
大事なし
静まる。はい、さようですか。
大事なし大事なし大事なし大事なし
Alright, battle ends right there after first HP break bar point has passed. Alright.
Damn, he's tough.
Such devastating oppression! How can I not rush to meet it?
Watch yourself, Spartacus. He'll cut even you to ribbons if you just run in like a jackass.
I see. So this is the extent of their capabilities.
Subbrass, we got another 7 headed this way. It looks like it's Akuta Hainako's Prince of Lightning. This is bad. If he joins forces with this automaton now. Why did you go on the attack without us, Lord Xiangyu? Xiangyu? Did he say Xiangyu?
I needed to measure our opponent's abilities. That is all I can really do. I believe I have gained sufficient data in this encounter. We can begin our strategy meeting. Let us go to camp. I will formulate a plan to lead us to a flawless victory.
Yes, Lord Xiangyu. Allow me to lead the way. What? They retreated? Well, woo-hoo. Yeah, more like they let us go. It looks like that thing just stopped by to check us out.
Just to check us out? You're joking! That thing was far more powerful than our servants! What in the hell was he?
Don't know, but he didn't even try to keep his true name secret. Xiangyu. So, that was Xiangyu, the hegemon king of Western Chu, who vied with Liu Bang, the founder of a Han dynasty for control of China. Yeah, right, Lord Xiangyu.
I'm fine. It has been 2,048,000 hours since I last engaged in combat, but my chassis function without issue.
I was hoping you would never need to take up your swords again.
The Emperor has decreed I must. Combat may not be my original function, but this frame has since been optimized for it. As such, it is imperative I use it to destroy the Empire's enemies.
Yes, now that you're here, our victory is all but assured.
So those were the Chaldeans. They hail from the same world as you do.
They're our sworn enemy. Invaders who threaten the Empire's peace and prosperity. We can never coexist with them. Their goals and the Empire's are fundamentally opposed.
I see. They did seem surprised to hear that name. Xiangyu. What you told me sounded impossible, but it would seem it really is true. There truly is a history where I am known as Xiangyu.
That's right. A single wayward branch of history led to you being given the name Xiangyu. And later generations knowing you as a human man.
Me? A human?
How could something so bizarre come to be? No matter how many times you tell me, it never ceases to surprise.
That's how much China's history rippled out to the rest of the world. If the emperor had passed away after a normal lifespan.
Enough. Merely imagining such a thing gives us chills.
Quite, your Imperial Majesty. My humblest apologies.
So, tell us, how did you find your long-awaited return to the field of battle?
My calculation shows a clear path to victory. Let me handle particulars, and defeating Chaldea will be no trouble.
We see. Still, no one can never be too careful. Thus, we have given King Xiangyu a battalion and sent her to join you. You will rendezvous with her and finish the enemy for good, ensuring a glorious victory for the Empire.
Wait, your Imperial Majesty! As they say, cleverness has never been associated with long delays. Now that we have Lord Xiangyu with us, our victory is a foregone conclusion. I think we should move to eliminate Chaldea as soon as possible.
Surely you jest, Akuda. You have fled from them not once, but twice now. Your tactical insight, such as it is neither necessary nor welcome.
Yes, your Imperial Majesty. Please forgive my outburst.
Good. You are not to make a move until King Xiangyu arrives. Until then, you will continue to monitor Chaldea and ensure they do not turn tail and run.
As you wish.
Akuda's camp. Oh boy, we're heading there. Oh no. Same thing? Sure.
Okay, you said you learned something in your analysis, Holmes?
Thanks to the remains of the automata we recovered earlier, I believe I have learned something. With Crown Prince Naza's help, I examined their inner workings and...
Yes, they look like me. Their quality, however, is most unfortunate. Their mechanisms only imitate my own. There is much dedication. It pales in comparison to great Taiyi Zenren's famed work.
The sage Taiyi Zenren and his lotus spirit. So then, you think these soldiers use sage art as a base instead of science?
Even so, I suppose it is impressive that they work as well as they do with makeshift parts instead of jewels of the old sage world.
The key problem we face is that centaur-like creature the enemy called Xiangyu. What did you make of the combat footage I showed you, Naza?
Oh yes, this one is much more like I am than the clay dolls. I have not seen his interior, but I can say that much for certain. Many of his movements resemble my own style,
even though his form is so radically different from yours.
I think those extra arms were bolted on. Later, his techniques still reflect a human-shaped body. If he had been made in that form to start, he would move much more naturally.
I see. A true martial artist's perspective proves most illuminating here.
To crib from Holmes, this is just a preliminary theory, but I think he was originally a humanoid patterned after my design, and that he became known as Xiangyu after many further modifications. In addition, we know that the other mechanical soldiers are much weaker thanks to their mechanisms made less complex.
Prince Nessa's body was made with sage arts from a Shang dynasty lost long before the age of Qin. However, if in this world Qin Shi Huang managed to recover and gain an outstanding understanding of these arts,
Scientific progress could subsequently have evolved them into something wholly different from what they were in proper human history.
That could also explain how the Emperor managed to become immortal here. And why this Lostbelt has such unusual technology.
This is no time to be admiring their handiwork. We should be asking ourselves what they're doing.
For some reason, they haven't made a move. They've just been monitoring us from their camp about 2 kilometers away. My guess is they're waiting for something.
This silence is rather unnerving. For the moment, I've asked Mrs. Soapfrost to take their servants and remain on standby.
How dare they treat Taiyi's Zenren's work with less respect than it is due. When next we meet, I will show them the power of my fire-tipped spear.
What the hell was that monster? I couldn't believe how strong he was. Yeah, and he wasn't just some muscle-headed dumbass either. See, strength's actually a double-edged sword. If you're faster and more skilled than a stronger opponent, then you can still kick his ass up. Then you can still kick his ass all up and down the yard. But that guy was... how do I put this?
His eyes was as cold as ice, a far cry from the mania of the battlefield. They were the eyes of the oppressor if ever I've seen them. He must be defeated, no matter the cost.
Yeah, he was freaky. He was freakish cool-headed. Like, he was just calmly assessing out every move. It felt like he was predicting exactly what we would do, and what he needed to do to avoid every attack. Very creepy. It was well beyond martial arts. It was also strange that Prince of Langling called him Xiangyu. If King Shi Huang really is still alive, I suppose it's not too strange that Xiangyu might be too, since they lived at the same time. Yeah, they might have been both alive back then, but that thing we fought today wasn't even human. For that matter, why would Xiangyu be a general working under the King Emperor? I mean, I only learned about this myself once I became a servant. But Xiangyu was a central figure in the rebellion that destroyed the Qin dynasty after Qin Shi Huang died, right? I heard he competed with Liu Bang, the guy who went on to create the Han dynasty for control of China. Okay, let's say he was always born to fight. Would someone like that just bend the knee and serve King all meek and obedient?
I'm afraid I've got even more bad news. There's a new army headed this way, and not by rocket this time. If these readings are right, it looks like they're on a wheel transport.
More reinforcements from Xiangyang, huh?
Yep, and the fact that they're traveling by land means they aren't just mechanical soldiers. This is a real flesh and blood army, led by an actual human general. Does this mean Akuda has been waiting to render this with them? Probably. I guess they plan to end this by combining those armies to absolutely crush us.
If they overwhelm us with sheer numbers, we will have no way of fighting back. This is certainly a rather dire predicament.
We can't even run away. There's no way we could hide in this world. There's no way we could hide in this wide open field.
If we can't run, then we shouldn't wait for them to get here.
Are you mad, you fool? You're not here to formulate strategy, especially not without asking me. Besides, you just saw for yourself how frighteningly strong that Xiangyu monster is. Attacking first would be far too reckless. We can always retreat from this Lostbelt if necessary. Oh, wait. I'll never be killed if we do that. We have to find a way to hold our ground. But then again, that Xiangyu robot scares the hell out of me. What is he, anyway? Some kind of living storm?
I see our self-proclaimed commander is pretty rattled too. Yes, it might be reckless to go on the offensive now, but if we just wait around for the reinforcements to get here, we won't have a prayer. We should challenge that storm again. If nothing else, it's a chance to chip away at the enemy's forces. You're always so calm and collected, Jinkei. If you think making the first move's the way to go to, then we might just have a chance. Alright, let's go on the attack. But be warned, I'm gonna keep being an eye. I'm gonna be keeping an evil. Okay. But be warned, I'm gonna be keeping an evil closer eye on Silkfrost vitals than usual. Remember, we didn't come to China just so you could burn yourself out. You'll need to be real careful. Hey, as long as we take care of business before Silkfrost gets worn out, then it's all good, right?
Either way, if we just stand here and wait for the reinforcements, we'll run out of options entirely. I say we strike now while the rebellion is hot.
Alright, let's do our best, Master. Woo woo! What? They gone on the attack? That's right, the Master of Chaldea and his servants are charging in like fools. Huh, this is perfect. Not even the Emperor would stop us from engaging invaders.
Are you sure about this? We could still remain on the defensive until reinforcements arrive.
No, the sooner we finish them off, the better. You're more than strong enough for that, Lord Xiangyu.
Very well then. I will do my best.
I will join you, Hegemon King of Western Chu. It would be an honor to fight beside such a legendary hero. This time, we're going to obliterate Chaldea and their master. Don't leave so much as a trace of them behind.
I'm gonna focus attack against Xiangyu.
触れてはいけないものに触れたわね。
Oh, fuck you, Amadeus.
つまんの連中だな。じゃあこういうのどうだ。つまんの連中だな。他にやることないの？
吉永様。
そこは弱く。フォルテッシモ。
大事なし。
この辺りで変調だな。
よしよし。
しか
いい鍵盤には女神のさてどのバッハがお好みかな。
ご加盟のはいお任せください。召喚ゼオン菩薩、私に力を、朝日の輝きを、オンアロリキャスターだ。はっ。
大事なし。
ファイヤー。
Okay.
大事なし。
バリバリ呪うぞ。量産ですもの。節約。
いくよーし。
はい。
罠だ。罠だ。
大事なし。
はあ。
Damn the fucking Xiangyu. Chill the fuck out, man. Let's play it fairly, alright?
バリバリ呪うぞ。ミコン。前に出ます。さて。はい。
大事なし。
はいや。
大事なし。大事なし。はあ。その通りだ。
Okay, good.
ご加盟。はい。さようですか。召喚ゼオン菩薩、私に力を、 朝日の輝きよオンアロイキャスターだはっ
大臣なし大臣なし大臣なし
Well, we won again.
Shit! The enemy reinforcements are almost here!
I guess we were too late.
That's enough! Both sides! Lay down your arms!
Huh?
What? But we almost got them! Stand down, Akuda Hinako! The Emperor commands it! What's the meaning of this, Your Imperial Majesty? I thought you were sending in King Xiangyu and her army as reinforcements!
Indeed, I was. I ordered her to find Akuda and Chodea, and lend her aid to whichever side was losing.
You're kidding me. You're still being merciful to Chodea. How many times do I have to tell you? These barbarians are a threat to your entire empire.
Ha! Barbarians, is it? It seems you've forgotten what we told you. So far as we are concerned, you and Akuda are every bit as barbaric as the Chaldeans. Be that as it may, we are beginning to get a clear picture of matters here. The quarrel between you, Akuda, and Chodea has nothing at all to do with us. You merely hope to use our territory as a stage to settle this quarrel. And so we are taking our time to assess both our allies and enemies to determine who truly benefits our empire, and who is merely a useless interloper.
Well, of course, Akuda, and I have been useful to you, right, Your Imperial Majesty? We came here to serve the Empire in its hours of need.
Ah, yes, that reminds us. What is this desired threat our empire faces? Is it the Chaldeans, who have stumbled in like drunkards? Is it an invasion of Xiangyu, my capital city? What say you, Han Xing?
No, Your Imperial Majesty. The area that poses the greatest danger to Empire lies outside that massive, impenetrable storm. I speak, of course, of the entire rest of the world, as it is now cut off from Your Imperial Majesty's blessings.
Then what is currently our most pressing need?
That would be gathering information about the world outside the storm. And not by taking a stranger's word, but by sending our soldiers you know and trust.
Good, good. That is precisely what we have planned. We would expect no less from one of our most loyal retainers. Very well. How might we go about sending soldiers into the storm to investigate?
I doubt the ones who came here on their own will be much help. Whatever ability that let them come from the world is most likely something they can only use on themselves.
And what of the more recent arrivals in our domain?
The Chaldeans seem to have crossed the storm using some kind of strange vehicle. So if we had that vehicle, we should be able to do the same. Theoretically. We would still need to learn how to use the vehicle. If not, it was built and how it functions. But once we do, it should serve to transport the Empire's armies to the world outside.
Oh! This Emperor's good. That's a surprising amount of clarity about the big and small pictures.
There you have it. Chodea has a much more valuable bargaining chip than either of you or Akuda. If you wish to negotiate with us, you will need to offer something of far greater value, Tayanskapon.
My name is Kanyatskaya! Are you sure you aren't doing this on purpose, Your Imperial Majesty?
Of course. We thought we were doing you a kindness, since you would surely dislike being called by the name you deserve. Or would you prefer we forego all consideration and call you Dodgy Fox Woman?
Pardon me.
Oof.
How? He was completely unarmed.
You grossly underestimated our intelligence, as well as our Imperial Guard's proficiency in Kung Fu. We are almost offended.
She must have thought this was still the same China she enjoyed toying with as she pleased.
Now then, let us begin our negotiations. Anew. Hello there, loyal soldiers and people of Chaldea. We trust you can hear our voice.
Who's that there?
I think it's coming from Shield. The voice of an empire is heard by all its citizens. No matter where they may be, it will find them just as surely as the sun's rays. In this case, we are merely focusing a magnetic beam upon that girl's shield, thereby causing it to vibrate. We could use anything of sufficient rigidity, but we assume you prefer your skulls not rattled directly.
The voice of an empire? Then, does that mean...
We are prepared to hand over this Konya something or other person you have been seeking so desperately.
You mean Kanyatskaya?
Correct. However, in exchange, you must agree to let us examine that vehicle of yours in detail. Accept this condition, and we will guarantee you safe conduct. Accept this condition, and we will guarantee you safe conduct in these lands. None will dare threaten you while you are under our protection.
What? Your Imperial Majesty, what are you saying?
Akuda Hainako. If you had shown yourself capable of capturing that vehicle unharmed, we would not have resorted to these measures. But you have all but trumpeted your intention of leaving not so much as a trace of Chaldea behind. You fought to destroy them, shadow border and all, despite being fully aware that is not what we desired. Still, the foxwoman aside, you have your uses, so we will treat you accordingly. We will not punish you merely for acting against our wishes. However, know that if you insist on continuing to work with Chaldea, you will face the White Cavalry spears.
Be warned, if my Emperor commands it, I will show you no mercy. What would you have me do, Master? We have little choice but to accept this. For now.
Very well then, Chaldea. Now that we have all had time to calm down, what is your answer? Oh, and do know that our audio is not as crisp as our video. When you wish to speak to us, make sure that you face directly upwards and raise your voice.
For our part, just having another option for exiting this current predicament is more than we could have hoped for. Even if that option may cause other problems down the road. At this point, I believe capturing Konyanskaya and securing an antidote is far and away our highest priority. Though, of course, Mr. Soapgrass will need to make the final call.
Huh? Not me?
Let's just keep your position to ourselves for now. Besides, that voice is speaking to Soapgrass, and I'm pretty sure it wouldn't be happy about being interrupted.
There's nothing we'd like more than a truce. Good, good. A reasonable answer. Now then, let us be certain of one thing before we begin to make arrangements. Do you know who we are? You're Julius Caesar? You're Qin Shi Huan, the first emperor of Qin. Let's just do a serious way. You're Qin Shi Huan, the first emperor of Qin. Right you are. We thought we might need to explain all that in excruciating detail. We are relieved to see that these concerns were baseless. Very well then. Now that we know you properly understand our eminence, let us proceed. To begin, King Liangyu there has brought with her a number of engineers. You will admit them, along with their equipment, aboard the Shadow Border.
How do we know they won't break anything?
Very well then, we will have our engineers conduct their work entirely under their supervision. However, be aware that they will not cease their investigation until they are satisfied with the results. We trust you can work together in good faith. Any other questions? Where are you speaking to us from?
Yeah, and I thought I heard you say something terrifying about magnetic beams.
I am speaking from directly above you, of course. Turn your heads upwards and it should be abundantly clear. Huh?
Directly above us? You mean?
Yes, the Great Wall.
The Great Wall? But I thought that was built on the ground.
The ground? Ah, you mean that thing we once used to keep the Huns away? Just how out of date is your knowledge of China? There has not been a Great Wall underground since our empire absorbed all other nations. Does that mean this empire no longer has any foreign enemies? Correct. This entire planet is now our domain. As such, any outside barbarians that might pose a threat would have to come from beyond the sky. Naturally, we could not merely sit around waiting for such hostile visitors to arrive, or it would to be too late to defend against them. So we decided to fortify our defenses ahead of time. This great feat of architecture was built over the course of 300 years. Perhaps you know that the original Great Wall's name meant the 10,000 li long castle? Well, this is far longer. If we were to measure it in li, it would be 131,424 li in length.
Man, where do I even begin picking that apart?
You say you began space development in the 18th century? That's as preposterous as Gandhi dropping an atomic bomb!
We admit, we did believe that the only possible threat to our empire might come from the stars. But we must say, even we did not expect to face one of this particular nature. Indeed, it was a great shock to see those impenetrable storm clouds, if that is even what they are, suddenly appear around this area of China. We no longer receive reports from the parts of the Great Wall that extend beyond China. The only parts that seem to function are those above China. The light of our glory once encompassed the entire globe, but now, those accursed storm clouds have severed us from our own world, plunging it back into darkness. This is a tragedy. Without our guidance, our people will regress back to a state of chaos and violence. Thus, we must once again bring peace and harmony to the rest of the world.
That's why you want the Shadow Border?
Yes, that said, that single vehicle alone is insufficient to our purposes. We will need to produce vast quantities of them, and of greater sizes capable of carrying much larger cargo, and so we shall require blueprints.
Ah, so that's why you want us to let your engineers analyze it.
Given that you are able to pass through the storm that permits no physical interference whatsoever, we assume you are able to pass through void space.
I'm impressed. I can't believe you figured that out at a glance.
We understand the theory, of course, but cannot imagine how it was actually achieved. And so, we wish to learn how this conveyance was constructed. Ideally, we would like to confiscate it and disassemble it to be thorough, but this would be a great inconvenience to you, would it not? So, we are willing to compromise and simply work with data alone? Consider this a display of our benevolence.
But the world outside the storm is...
Ah, yes, Akuda and that foxwoman told us some nonsense about Lostbelts and pruning theoretical phenomena. If you insist upon feeding us the same lies, we may lose our temper.
Now would be a great time to stop talking so fast.
There is no point in guessing why you visitors speak of the outside world in such vague generalities. We will make our own judgments once we have seen past the storm wall for ourselves. May I ask you something, your Imperial Majesty? Did a strange tree happen to appear in this land around the same time as the storm? Specifically, a tree of light so large it reaches up to the sky. What an odd question. Do such things often appear out of nowhere in your world? We see you are still hiding something from us, Akuda. Well, no matter. We are well aware she has some cards yet to play. No doubt they have something to do with her differences with you. Our interest, though, lies solely in maintaining peace in our empire and reclaiming its territories. We have no intention of becoming involved in disputes between visitors, unless those disputes become something that affect us. Now then, let us be candid. You inquired about a tree of light? The answer is no. Our sight extends to all of China, and we have observed nothing of the sort.
All of China, huh? Since it seems like you don't stand on formality too much, I'm just gonna ask. Are you sure you don't mind speaking with us directly like this, Your Imperial Majesty?
What do you mean?
Well, most people in positions like yours like to, dress up their negotiations a bit, right? They like to trot out intermediaries and representatives and the like. Usually they make a point never to meet face to face. I mean, drawing a firm line between themselves and the lesser people by refusing to speak to them directly is a big part of how nobles like to demonstrate their difference in status, right?
What a strange thing to say at this point. We see, in your world, monarchs are so insecure that they refuse even to permit themselves to be seen for fear of seeming less than perfect. Tell us, does the sun seek to hide from the public eye? Does the moon hide itself from the people's gaze? We are the Emperor, the Child Heaven, the celestial existence who reigns over all our citizens. That is why we permit them audience. Just as the sun's light bathes every corner of earth, so too does our glory shine upon every person on this world who looks up to us. Still, we suppose that if the sun looked the same as anyone else, it may feel a need to put on a bit of a show to emphasize its power and status.
Then, you don't mind letting us see your face?
Now what are you going on about? You have been gazing upon my visage for some time now.
Huh?
Well, we suppose you cannot see us with your naked eyes, not with the horizon away. But you have still been observing us with those mechanical birds of yours, have you not? Indeed, our eyes have met a number of times.
I'm sorry, I don't understand. We've been observing Xiangyu from a distance, yes, but...
What? Then you stare at us without realizing who it is you look upon? How insolent! We suppose you could not help your ignorance, but now that you know, you should be more careful.
Wait, hang on! Are you telling us that thing floating above Xiangyu is...
Yes, that is us. This holy vessel is the result of us abandoning our earthly body, as it could only deteriorate, and imbuing all our authority within this machine in its stead. In the 2200 years that have passed since, this body has grown and expanded along with our nation, and now we shall never touch the ground again. Still, our grandeur is readily apparent in this form, making it easy for our people to understand. We are the first and last emperor, the immortal ruler who shall reign over this world for all our eternity. We are Qin Shi Huang. Damn. Holy shit, that's a long talk. Well, it's 8 o'clock past by now. Daily login. Hey, Turno Gear. Hell yeah. Seeding point. Qin Shi Huang. Yeah, that's King Xiangyu. I'm not picking her. Let's see.
Man, of all the ways for the Emperor to obtain immortality, that one just didn't even occur to me. Woo-woo! So, after finding Neza's remains in the Shang Dynasty ruins, the Emperor must have worked out some sort of cybernetics breakthrough way back in the BC era. No wonder the technology in this Lostbelt is so topsy-turvy. So, the Emperor must have abandoned the Zenrin's aspirations and found a way to attain immortality another way.
Zenrin?
The Zenrin were Taoist mountain sages, or hermits, if you like, who sought eternal truth. They also perfected their bodies, thereby achieving eternal youth and life. In proper human history, the first emperor of Qing attempted to become one such Zenrin through an immortality elixir made with Chinese alchemy. But as it happened, repeated long-term use of this elixir only resulted in fatal mercury poisoning. Alchemy has always been a great deal more trial and error than success, no matter where it was practiced. But in this Lostbelt, the same emperor must have given up on alchemy in favor of technology based on Neza. Well, Prince Neza's body was still created by a Zenrin, so it's not as though that represented too big of a divergence from the path. But the decision to surrender human form and grant only the mind immortality cannot have been made lightly. From there, if the Emperor was able to stamp out all the Daisen in the rest of China and continue ruling the resulting empire at the height of its power, conquering the rest of the world seems only a matter of course.
Yes, well, as a mage, I can't say I approve of that, but I am glad this emperor turned out to be such a reasonable fellow.
Indeed, this was a most unexpected development. I never would have guessed that a Lostbelt's ruler would sever ties with its cryptor in favor of negotiating with us. That said, what do you make of the request to examine the shadow border in exchange? It's definitely a risk. I mean, we didn't so much as tell the other Lostbelt factions that zero sailing is even a thing. The Russian and Scandinavian Lostbelt both seem to have their hands full with their own affairs. But China is different. Quite so. This empire is under the impression that the rest of the world is part of its domain, and that the storm is responsible for severing the ties to the rest of the land. They see the situation as an unprecedented disaster, much like we did with proper human history being wiped out of existence. I wonder what they think if they saw the world outside of Lostbelt.
I guess they'd be pretty distraught.
Yeah, their potential reaction is key. There are several Lostbelts, but only one Earth. It's a recipe for the biggest, crappiest game of musical chairs ever. Since there's no way for all these different civilizations to coexist, instead of existing in parallel worlds, they all have to fight to exist on the same Earth. So the Lostbelts that aren't preoccupied with just scraping by are eventually going to have to fight others if they want to expand their territory further.
I think Kushtarya even said something about that.
So, the cryptors... Team A are competing with each other at the same time to fighting proper human history. Why would Kshatriya choose this? We have insufficient evidence to come to any conclusions about his motives, so let us leave that aside for now. The salient point at the moment is that all the Lostbelts will eventually be competing with each other for survival. Right, and while proper human history may be at a disadvantage with all its territory gone, there's still one thing we have that the Lostbelts don't.
Of course, the Shadow Border. And because of that, we're still the only ones with the ability to zero sail between Lostbelts as we please. But
If one of the Lostbelt had the border, they'd have a serious leg up over the others, huh? Damn, I can't believe this Qin Shi Huang was thinking that far ahead.
Indeed, though all of this assumes that China does indeed have all the other nations under its rule.
then once Qin Shi Huang ventures outside the Lostbelt, the first move they make will be to go on the attack against other Lostbelts rather than Chaldea. This could be our big chance to swoop in while the other sides are weak from fighting each other and take the prize for ourselves.
I'm afraid not, Mr. Gordon. The outcome we need to be concerned about is Qin Shi Huang gaining an overwhelming advantage thanks to the Shadow Border's technology, and going on to claim the entire planet as their own.
Right. If that happens, we'll be responsible for creating the biggest threat to restoring proper human history ourselves. And there's no way to tell how it'll play out until we open the lid on this figurative Pandora's box.
So no matter what we do, we're taking a big risk.
There is also the possibility that we may become collateral damage when the Lostbelts begin to battle one another in earnest. Still, while we cannot rule that outcome out definitively, it's far enough away that we can worry about it later. In the meantime, our most pressing concern, by far, is finding an antidote for Director Gordon and Mr. Soapfrost.
Yes, exactly, Holmes. I always knew you had a kind heart deep down underneath your gruff detective exterior.
Well, I guess we can't deny that Tubby here is in trouble. If they really do hand Konyanskaya over as promised, does that mean we'll have one less thing to worry about?
Well, in one sense, yes, but having Konyanskaya as a prisoner will create other very serious problems. If anything, it only further raises the question of how we will go about settling matters in this Lostbelt.
And then there's the fact that we still can't find its tree of emptiness.
Indeed, I was surprised to learn that not even Qin Shi Huang knew about it.
Does that mean Hinako doesn't know either? What am I saying? Of course she does. I mean, it's her job as a crypto to protect this world's tree of emptiness with her life.
Quite so. Her behavior has been most peculiar from the beginning. Both Kadok and Opelia had formed alliances with their Lostbelt's rulers and shared a goal to expand their territory in the future. But here in China, the only one who seems interested in territory expansion is Qin Shi Huang. It even seemed as though Akuda was trying to hold Qin Shi Huang back.
Yeah, the only thing that seemed to interest her was wiping us out.
That's true. I got the sense that she wanted to dispose of us before Qin Shi Huang started paying attention to the outside world.
I can't tell if she's being reactive or proactive.
So hey, this might be a little too late by now, but are we sure it's okay to talk about this stuff in here? I mean, Qin Shi Huang keeps an eye on all of China, right? How do we know the Emperor is not listening in right now?
True. The thought of the Emperor peeping on us from low orbit is more than a little creepy. But the flip side of that is that's all the Emperor can do. We should still assume our heat signatures are visible, even with the roof in the way. But as far as the audio is concerned, the Emperor mentioned that the quality isn't good, and we can only be heard when we're looking up and raising our voices. I know, cause I tried yelling a bunch of obscenities at the Emperor when I was in the cockpit,
So that's what all that stuff about old geezers, cyberpunk ripoffs, and 80s leftovers was?
Anyway, having the Emperor constantly watching us at all times will get annoying, so I made this!
What is it?
A stealth module for your new Mr. Code. I tried modeling off of Robin Hood's No-Face May King. Just think of it as a streamlined, portable, bounded feel. That's amazing! When did you even have time to make that? Thanks, but it's really not quite as impressive as it maybe sounds. There are a lot of stability issues and other kinks to work out. If the minor levels in the atmosphere are too dense, or it's really hot or really cold, it falls apart like a house of cards. So that means it would be pretty useless in the other two Lostbelts we've seen.
I see. But when one considers how stable this Lostbelt's environment is, it becomes clear how useful such a module would be here.
Oh, it's also focused on precision over area of effect, so it won't hide you from someone close by. But since we only have to worry about long-range spying here, it should work perfectly in this case.
What the? Did Xiangyu just launch something else at us?
Let's go check it out, Master.
Oh, a benefaction! Our village got a benefaction!
Most glorious and majestic Heavenly Emperor wishes to thank you for your hospitality to our otherworldly visitors. Be grateful for this blessing. Oh, thank you, most glorious and majestic Heavenly Emperor. Thank you.
Benefaction?
I remember now. They said that's what those rockets are usually used to deliver. Man, they're so lucky. I can't wait till I'm a grown-up and can get benefactions too.
You mean kids never get them?
We do, but they usually don't work as well when you're little as when you're grown up. They sure don't for me. Say, wanna try mine and see what they're like for yourself, mister? Here you go.
It looks like medicine.
Yup, it clears your head out and makes you feel really good. It's like a dream come true.
It's that soul! Give it here!
Remember your reputation.
Rest assured, I am not speaking solely out of personal desire. Don't you think such a drug is worth analyzing? This could be some sort of technology unique to this Lostbelt that has no counterpart in proper human history.
I see. So this benefaction isn't money then? Of course not. I doubt this farming village even has a monetary economy. Then again, the fact that we've seen so much agriculture would suggest some economic activity.
What if the crops yield tremendous surplus every year without fail?
Is that even possible?
In our world, using methods of agriculture with which we are familiar, no, but things may work differently in this world. I took a look at the wheat they are growing, and it was like nothing I've ever seen. In fact, I can't even be certain it is wheat. All I can say for certain is that it has been heavily modified. Perhaps this seemingly primitive form of agriculture is actually far more advanced than we have been giving it credit for.
Even though these farmers don't have so much as a single tractor.
Perhaps the methods are so advanced they have no need for machines.
Why don't you analyze the wheat along with that shady drug then? You might just learn something.
I cannot say that the wheat is nearly as interesting as the drug. But now that we no longer need to look for Konyaskaya, I suppose I could spare the time.
Hey, isn't that Kinshi's Huang's?
Hi there! The engineers just went on break. That vehicle is like your home away from home, right? I'm so sorry you can't use it during our investigation. Are you finding everything to your liking in our camp in the meantime? Oh yes, it's very pleasant here. The air is so clean and fresh too. It's so nice to have a place outside our vehicle where we can relax. We didn't really have that in the other places we've been to. I'm glad to hear. Oh right, I haven't introduced myself yet. King Miangyu, a general of the Empire.
King Xiangyu.
You're from the Ming period, right?
Ming? Oh, right, the history of your own world is entirely different from ours, isn't it? I think they said Qin's reign ended quickly there, and that numerous other dynasties sprung up in its place. Here in this world, the only emperor I know is Qin Shi Huang, who has reigned for the last 2200 years.
That aside, the fact that you are still alive in this day and age is a great surprise to us. Did Qin Shi Huang make you immortal too, by any chance?
Of course not. I was just permitted to sleep in Mountain Light after my accomplishments in the Bozo Rebellion. Here in the Empire, any warrior who makes a name for themselves is put to rest in times of peace, and is only awakened again when they are needed.
So, you employ cryogenic...
Excuse me.
So, you employ cryogenic freezing. Then I presume there is no need to keep a standing army here.
Were Xiangyu frozen in Mountain Lai too?
Xiangyu? Ah, I see. So you call that thing Xiangyu too? That thing? No, that thing is just a valuable relic. It's one of the most glorious and majestic Heavenly Emperor's most impressive accomplishments, which is saying a lot. It's both one of the cornerstones of this eternal empire and a monument to it. But as you can see, it's not a living soldier. You could say it's the ancestor to the mechanical army.
So, Qin Shi Huang's army is composed of those dolls. And you commanders from the past were unfrozen in order to lead them.
Of course, I'm also told that the royal guards in Xiangyang are always assembled from soldiers of the current era. I've even heard that some elites have received instruction in sage arts from most glorious and majestic Heavenly Emperor in person. But Qin Shi Huang has no need to keep a full army on hand at all times. The mechanical soldiers are more than sufficient, and the generals needed to lead them can always be summoned from their quarters in Mountain Lai. It's been a long time since I was frozen myself, and I'm also told there hasn't been any sort of disturbance from the last 100 years.
So, you're saying war has been eradicated from this world?
Even when I was a young girl, war was only ever something I read about in history books. I mean, wars can only be fought between countries, right? But there haven't been any countries beside our empire for over 800 years. The only reason I took up the spear was to help put down revolts.
Then Qin Shi Huang had achieved dominion over the world by the 13th century.
We started implementing gunpowder well before any other country, so no nation was able to oppose us. The discovery of the Fusang tree was a big help too, as it helped us make huge leaps in our medical science.
Cheeky.
It's all thanks to most glorious and majestic Heavenly Emperor abandoning mortal flesh in favor of a holy undying vessel.
What's the Fusang tree? Fusang, I would say.
I'm told it's the embodiment of the sage's secrets, a treasure trove of hidden mystic wisdom. Others know it as a tree of life. Most glorious and majestic Heavenly Emperor discovered it while searching the sage world for the secrets to immortality. Does that mean Qin Shi Huang really did manage to become a sage? Nope. Most glorious and majestic Heavenly Emperor had already achieved immortality through the holy vessel before discovering the Fusang tree. They say the Emperor chose to remain in metal form rather than ascend to the heavens, because it was a better way to lead the nation. Still, it took over 300 years to complete the search, and it wouldn't have been possible without abandoning the shackles of mortality. In the end, the Emperor decided to use the sage's knowledge of medicine to improve the people's lives. With all manner of disease, hunger, and pestilence eradicated, and our soldier strength enhanced through elixirs, no other country's forces stood a chance against us.
Sage art-based biochemistry. That reminds me, isn't this a rather unnecessarily large plot of farmland for this number of residents?
You think? I suppose everyone does have their hands full during the harvest. But the wheat grows on its own the rest of the time, so it doesn't seem like too much work to me.
Is that so? I do beg your pardon. I merely thought that all this wheat might result in quite a surplus, given how many people live here. Perhaps you take more than half of the harvest as a form of taxation?
Of course, everything the village can't eat is taken to Xiangyu.
I see. Then I suppose Xiangyang must be the immensely populous city.
No, not especially. Aha! Now I see. I take it wheat is still only grown for food in your world? Is that not the case here? Wheat is the key ingredient for ethanol, the Empire's most valuable source of energy.
Well, don't I look a proper fool? I was completely taken by appearances. So this rather mundane-looking wheat field is actually used primarily for growing your fuel source.
I did hear that the world you all come from has a completely different history from ours. I can only speculate, but I gather the world you come from must be a cruel and unforgiving place.
What makes you say that?
Both you and that young lady are, I do hope it doesn't offend you, but neither of you look as though you enjoy fighting. You have such kind eyes, so much so that I can scarcely imagine you any quarrels to begin with. Foo-foo! And yet, that weapon the young lady carries looks to be so heavy and dense that even the most seasoned of our warriors would have difficulty handling it. What's more, I can tell she wields it as naturally as if it were an extension of her own body. Now people such as yourselves have been forced to become adept at combat at such a young age. Well, that says a great deal about how harsh your world must be.
Damn, looks like they're gonna party out all night, huh? That benefaction stuff must be some real good shit.
Indeed.
What's going on, man? This isn't like you. I thought you'd be all up in your arms about, these poor people dancing at a meager, blessing their oppressors, deign to bestow upon them, or something.
Yes, perhaps under other circumstances I would. But seeing how happy they are right now, it is difficult to find fault in this.
So that's how it is, huh?
It was the pain and starvation I saw so many forced to endure that first moved me to rebellion. They were treated more like animals than people. Their smiles and moments of hard-won victory and freedom were so fragile, so honorable. They were nothing like what I see here now. Now that I think of it, I've never seen anywhere so filled with joy and peace as this village.
Course not. These sheep don't even know what war is, remember? Couldn't be further from our world.
I had always hoped that the blood my compatriots and I shed would buy smiles like this. But I never dreamed I would truly get to see them. This world is too perfect for the likes of me.
Ain't that the truth?
Tell me, old knight, are you sure we should even be here?
You effing kidding me? Why would you even ask? You get along great with these people.
I know, but even so, something continues to feel off. I cannot help but wonder, do we heroic spirits truly have a place on the battlefields of these lost belts?
Senpai, are you up?
Having trouble sleeping, Mash?
Yes, I'm afraid my nerves are still frayed from the battle we fought earlier today. I'm glad we survived thanks to King Shi Huang interceding, but it was still too close for comfort.
Why don't we get some fresh air?
Okay, thank you for joining me, Senpai. I see the villagers are still enjoying the festival. I guess these benefactions must be a huge cause for celebration. Holmes said he suspected they might be a luxury good, much like alcohol in our own world.
The fact that it's like a drug makes me a little nervous though.
Maybe our perspective's off from. Maybe our perspective is off there since we're used to Holmes' habits. Anyway, it looks like they're going to keep the Shadow Border investigation going through the night. I hope Da Vinci will be okay supervising them.
That leaves us with nothing to do for once.
Yeah, it feels like forever since we last had free time to ourselves. This Lostbelt, it's really peaceful, isn't it?
Something wrong?
Senpai, I've seen a world like this before. It was a world of possibilities, united under a single ideal.
Are you talking about the Temple of Time?
Yes, the King of Mages, Goetia, envisioned a history of humanity that was free from strife and suffering. I disagree with him. There was something about a world completely lacking any pain or adversity that just felt wrong to me. But now, the way people live here seems so close to that world, yet it's still rich with life and the scent of earth. These people aren't illusions. They're just as real as we are.
But we're still this world's enemies.
Yes, I know. Even after we take Konyaskaya into custody and secure an antidote, that won't be the end of it. We can't stop fighting until we find the Tree of Emptiness, cut it down, and prune this world away like it was originally meant to be. I know this is a rare chance to rest and relax, but when I think about that, I just can't get to sleep.
It's been so long since we've seen such a beautiful night sky.
Master, get back! It would seem I missed my chance. I thought it would be easy to kill you under cover of darkness. I underestimated those who have spent their lives dedicated to the art of war. Even if it would take no more than a single stroke of my sword, I cannot bring myself to sneak up behind and murder someone in cold blood as they admire the beauty of the night sky. Prince of Langling, but we called a truce right now. No, you and the Emperor called a truce. My master and I agreed to no such thing. As such, tonight, when everyone else had lowered their guard, would have been a perfect chance to end you, Master of Chaldea. Ordinarily, I would like nothing more than for those moved by beautiful things to live out their lives in peace and happiness. But now that we have met as enemies, that can never be. I had hoped to end you before you had to feel any need for fear. Forgive me for my incompetence. Did you really think it would be that easy, Seven? King Xiangyu, did you honestly believe I would fail to protect our allies in a moment perfect for assassination? Perhaps a true assassin would have been able to elude me, but you, not a chance. Warriors like you are meant to cross swords on a field of battle, not skulk around in the dead of night. Your master must be grossly ignorant of what to send you on a mission so badly suited to your abilities. Silence! I will not suffer any insult to my master. Still, now that I have heard such insolent remarks, I need to feel no guilt for drawing my sword. For that, you have my thanks, General!
Damn.
「適正反応を検知戦闘状態へ移行します」
つまんない連中だな。おじゃあこういうのどうだ。つまんない連中だな。他にやることないの？
静まる神明解放、スタンバイ。風よ集え家臣レースを起動。からくり原砲ロンギュー。 了解受諾了解はっからくり忍術いかがでしょうかはいよ受諾いたしましたお任せくださいぜいとはいよ
Damn, ouch.
はいよ了解受諾いた
Wait,
し
how many hits he? It's two. Two left, okay.
は了解ご加盟のままにぜい召喚ゼオン菩薩私に力を朝日の輝きをオンカロリキャッター
Are you kidding me? Fucking debuff. Mental debuff resistance. Well, not mental debuff resistance, but like, debuff resistance itself. Joke.
吉永さんはいさようではい燃えろ
我が顔をそれほど望むか
No.
ならば見せよう呪われし顔を儚く散るまで歌い続けるために
I do not want to see your pretty face.
トン
Uh-oh.
セイ
No! Fuck you, pretty boy.
は了解さようですかと
いかがでしょうかはいよトンはいよ
Probably your fucking crit chance.
飛び方機能調整は了解さようですかは
どうぞよしよしはいよ
God damn it, you fucker.
はいよ
バリバリ呪うぞ良妻ですもの節約節約さてさてお任せくださいはいやわあせい
トントンはいよ
神明解放スタンバイお任せください風よ集え家臣レースを起動からくり元宝ロンギュー
行きますはいよはいよ
吉永さん受諾いたしましたはいや参ります
Whatever.
我が顔をそれほど望むかならば見せよう呪われし顔を儚く散るまで歌い続けるためにトントン
静まりは了解お任せくださいは
仕切り直す交代せよ
これにてしまいにございまする
Oh, god damn. That sucks. That battle was just horrible. Horrible ways, anyway.
I've stalled long enough. Any chance you had at victory is gone, Prince of Lightning.
Kinch. Alright, let's see. Alright, so it's Qin Shi Huang. King Liangyu speaks the truth. Nighttime though it may be, even we, at such great remove, cannot help but notice such tumultuous commotion. Gah! We trust you can hear our voice, Akuda Hainako. What do you have to say for yourself?
Akuda, I know you may not understand right now, Your Imperial Majesty, but I promise that everything I've done has been for the prosperity of your empire.
Is that so? Then it would seem you indeed have no intention of honoring our wishes. Now then, what to do with you? We doubt the threat of beheading would be enough to cow you. No, if we are to punish you, then we must take something else away. Ah, yes, I know. Come here, Kuai G0.
You summon me, Your Imperial Majesty.
Xiangyu? We did. Rip your core out of your chest and smash to it pieces immediately.
As you wish, Your Imperial Majesty.
Wait! Please, wait! I'm sorry, please! Anything but that!
Ah, so you are able to plead for forgiveness. You must be quite attached to that machine indeed.
Akuda? Please, have mercy! I swear I will serve you faithfully from this moment forward. I'll do anything you ask, anything at all. Just please, spare his life!
We will hold you to your word, Akuda Hainako. Know that the only reward for defying our will is fear far worse than any mere death.
Yes, Your Imperial Majesty! I swear I will never go against your wishes again!
Well done, King Liangyu. You need not concern yourself with that woman any longer.
Understood, Your Imperial Majesty. Lord Silkfrost, I suggest you return to the camp and retire for the tonight. Senpai?
Let's go, Mash.
Okay.
I must ask you once again.
Yes.
Who is the Xiangyu you speak of?
To answer that, I will need to tell you another, very different story first.
The one where the Emperor died before obtaining the holy vessel?
That's right. After the Emperor passed, the quest for immortality was seemingly buried with him. You were no exception, as you were kept hidden away in the secret Kuachi laboratory. But someone found and reactivated you, a man by the name of Xiang. He went on to become one of the many people attempting to rule China for himself after the decline of Qin.
Then, in the history, I fell into rebel hands.
Xiang Liang wanted to use your superhuman abilities to further his own ambitions. So he gave you his surname of Xiang, the first name Ji, and the courtesy name of Yu, and presented you as his nephew, despite knowing you were not actually human.
True, I was only given my current combat frame long after I was first activated. My original chassis was entirely humanoid.
No one ever suspected Xiang Liang was lying. The thought simply never occurred to them. The Emperor has based you on Hai Yi, Zenrin's creation. A machine as advanced as you was beyond anyone's imagination at the time.
Then, I was treated as a person, rather than a device.
Given your appearance, no one had any reason to suspect you were anything other than human, regardless of how exceptionally skilled you may have been. In time, future generations will come to know Xiangyu as one of China's greatest warriors. Yet none of them will ever know your true identity, nor how you were made.
Something is amiss with your claims. If this Xiang Liang person kept my origins and the truth of my creation a secret, how did you come to learn the truth? Who are you, really?
I am just a drifter. Once who came to this Lostbelt solely to be reunited with you, my beloved Lord Xiangyu.
Okay, no battle. How many chords I have? Okay, let's try summoning it. For that new banner. I don't care. Oh, fuck. There's no, friggin', King Miangyu. When she'll be available. Prince of Ling. I don't want you, pretty boy. Today is 28, so she'll be back on like tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Okay, I'm not gonna roll it yet. So maybe next time on tomorrow. Alright. Land of Peace, Section 8. Okay, 1 second. Okay.
Huh. Sounds like you had quite the evening.
Peculiar though this may be, it does present another piece of the puzzle. Unfortunately, it does nothing to make the larger picture any easier to see. We know that the cryptid's first priority is defending their tree of emptiness. And yet, Akuda has not told this Lostbelt king of the tree's importance. Furthermore, she moved to eliminate us entirely on her own discretion, only to end up swearing allegiance to King Shi Huang the instant Xiangyu's life was threatened.
I was taken aback to see Akuda acting so aggressively when we first came to this Lostbelt. But seeing her so scared and flustered was just painful, more than it was surprising. I guess I really didn't know anything about her back when we were both at Chodea.
Ah, yes, about who she was at Chodea.
Holmes and I did a little poking around in the data we managed to back up from the server. And her entire background reeks of falsified records.
Indeed, I had to practically hold my nose as we picked apart her disguise.
Disguise? Even though she was a member of Chodea's staff.
Let's see. Imagine her profile is like a painting that's been thoroughly methodically airbrushed to erase any trace of the original painter.
Correct. There was not a single errant brushstroke, so to speak, to be found anywhere. Anyone who has lived an ordinary life will inevitably leave behind a bit of useless information about him or herself along the way. And yet, there was nothing of the sort to be found in Akuda Hinako's data. It was as though her entire life story was designed to pull the wool over someone's eyes.
You mean like a perfect alibi?
Precisely! That is just the sort of interjection I was looking for, my dear Watson!
So the fact that nothing in her personal information is strange also means nothing in it is real? Yep. There's basically nothing even remotely human about her entire background. And even that's not the only obviously suspicious thing we ran across.
According to her profile, Maurice Animal Spear brought her to Chodea, supervised her aptitude test, and oversaw her periodic health exams and interviews personally. It seems every bit of data about her was submitted with his authorization codes. No one else's.
The first director? Just the fact that he handled it all alone is one hell of a red flag for security. It'd be easy for him to falsify any data he wanted, considering his position.
Be that as it may, if Chodea's original director was the one who manipulated her profile.
Yeah, if a guy that high up the food chain had something he wanted to keep secret about her, we're pretty much SOL. How did Akuda end up at Chodea in the first place? Did she actually have enough racial aptitude to be chosen for Team A? For that matter, who the hell is she, eh? Really? At this point, I don't know what to believe.
Indeed, everything we thought we knew about Akuda Hinako's personal information is suspect at best.
So it wouldn't really be a stretch to imagine she might have a different goal from the other cryptors?
Obviously not. What's more, this goal is evidently more important to her than protecting her Lostbelt or preserving her relationship with its king. One might think eliminating us would be her first priority, but as we see, even that is secondary compared to her concern for Xiangyu, another figure about whom we know next to nothing.
It looks like that name only means anything to those of us from proper human history. In this Lostbelt, he appears to go by something else. I think he was called Kuwaiji Zero.
Kuwaiji.
Well, a quick database search suggests that area has some significance from Xiangyu. It's where his uncle Xiangliang started his revolt against the Qing Empire after the emperor died. You could say it's where Xiangyu began his career as a warrior.
Regardless of who Xiangyu may be in this world, the fact remains that he belongs to this Lostbelt. So I cannot fathom why Akuda Hinako, who, though nothing else we know about her is certain, comes from proper human history, would care so deeply about him as to abandon her other goals.
That's one pretty straightforward. She must have fallen in love with him at first sight. The more foolish the woman, the more likely she is to chuck everything away for such silly notions.
Careful, Gordy. You're gonna lose any goodwill you may have built up with your female staff.
Bah! The only woman here is Mash. You borderline Lolita.
Well, I was certainly disappointed by what you said.
Wait, really?
Now, don't try to stay... Now, do try to stay on topic. We still have a mountain of problems that need solving.
Oh, right. We still need to talk to the people who are going to be less than pleased about this. Even if it's only temporary, I can't believe I have to pretend to make nice with that emperor. Just the thought makes me sick.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Negotiate? Out of the question. That tactics plays right into the oppressor's hands. Do not be fooled, detective. They will tell you whatever the weak wish to hear and pressure you into swearing allegiance with only the pretense of your consent at best.
Given the urgency of Mr. Soapfrost and Gordon's condition, I'm afraid we have no alternative. At a minimum, I would like to maintain our truce with King Shi Huang until Kanyaskaya is securely in our custody. If we could prolong it until Akuda Hinako is out of the picture, so much the better. Whatever her reasons for doing so may be, Akuda Hinako remains fiercely determined to eradicate us. So much so that she tried to assassinate Mr. Soapfrost in the dead of night against King Shi Huang's wishes.
Obviously, Akuda and King Shi Huang aren't exactly BFFs at the moment. But we can't be sure that will last, since there's still a lot we don't know about their relationship. There's every possibility that she may yet convince King Shi Huang to take her side in all of this.
What about defeating Qin Shi Huang and cutting down the tree of emptiness before Musek and Master can fall victim to this accursed poison? Should that not be our first priority?
Listen closely, Spartacus. At the moment, making an enemy out of all the Empire will lead only to disaster. Right now, Kanyanskaya is a wild card who could wreak havoc no matter where she is or whose side she is on. If we don't have an antidote ready to go by the time we face off with Qin Shi Huang, it will be over before it begins. All the Emperor will have to do is kill Kanyanskaya, and Mr. Soapfrost will be saddled with the poison deleterious effects for the rest of his life.
let's not forget that my own life will be tragically shortened.
Yes, ultimately, we need to destroy the Tree of Emptiness and erase this Lostbelt. And to do so, we will inevitably need to face and defeat Qin Shi Huang. So bear in mind that any amicable relations we appear to have now are a strictly temporary state of affairs.
So, you want us to pretend to be friends until we can attack when the Emperor least expects it, right? Yeah, that's fine. Hell, I used to ask Agravain for advice with that sort of sneaky shit all the time.
I refuse. Acquiescence is the first step to allegiance, and allegiance inevitably leads to subservience. My master must never side with oppression, but always rebel against it. He should rebel against pain, rebel against suffering, and ultimately triumph by rebelling against destiny.
Get the goddamn stick out of your ass, would ya? We're playing the long game here, lunkhead. The important part is that we get to destroy the Empire in the end. So why don't you just think of all the rebellion you're gonna get to do later as a prize for all the restraint you gotta show now? I mean, you love repressing your own shit, right?
Are you all truly willing to go along with this?
When I tried to assassinate Emperor before, I lost the moment I focused on something other than killing itself. But I'm not the one leading the attack this time. I get that Silfrost has his own way of fighting.
I'm sorry, I know it's a lot to ask.
Well, there's nothing I can do if you're going to plead at me with that helpless look on your face. I mean, you're just now realizing how hopeless your chances are against Xiangyu, right? It's getting stuffy in here with so many of us present. I think I'll step out for a bit of fresh air. Huh? Holmes just winked at me, senpai. And Jinkei. What's going on? What is it, Holmes? Is something else you want to talk to us about? I thought it would be best if Spartacus would absent for this next part. I trust you to retain your cool, Miss Jinkei, but let me remind you to refrain from raising your voice. As long as we whisper, Qin Shi Huang should be unable to hear us. I've mostly finished my analysis of benefaction drug, and it's beyond anything I could have imagined. Its psychotropic effects are secondary at most. Its true purpose lies in boosting immune system, or perhaps I should say, enhancing it to an unfathomable degree. And despite its potency, there are almost no negative side effects as long as one condition remains unmet. It is well beyond what modern medical science could achieve. In fact, I doubt even magecraft from proper human history could create a drug so effective. It is something that could only be made here, in the Lostbelt where pharmaceuticals and biochemistry are entirely based on sage arts. Now I see. So, it's mass-produced elixir. And they just hand out something that amazing to every citizen during every major celebration? Indeed, and as a result, illness and disease have been completely eradicated. I doubt any of these people have had so much as a cold since they were born. Then it's a real, actual panacea. Hold on, what's the condition that needs to go unmet for this to work? Ah, yes, that would be old age. Once a person's hormonal secretions have reached a certain level, this drug functions as a lethal anesthetic. I estimate it to be at least several thousand times more potent than pentobarbital.
Hang on, wouldn't that mean...
Now I see. I thought it was strange that we hadn't seen a single elderly person here. This is no unintended side effect. It's quite clear that the medicine was designed to work this way. Design? Then it really is poisoning everyone who takes it? So when someone's body secretes a certain amount of
secretes a certain amount of hormones. In other words, once their body has aged to a certain point. Oh shit, let me read it again. Let me reread it. So, when someone's body secretes a certain amount of hormones, in other words, once their body has aged to a certain point, they just die? Correct. From our perspective, disturbing a drug like this is no better than mass murder. Still, a case can be made from a Buddhist perspective and how it views the four inevitabilities of human life, namely birth, aging, disease, and death. If one considered both old age and illness equally undesirable, one could say this medicine protects you from the pain of the former and the latter at once. I cannot say if every world, under all possible conditions, would eventually arrive at these ethics of pharmaceutical science, but the wheat grown here has been extensively genetically modified into something extraordinary. Its resistance to disease, its yield, everything about it stands leagues above its natural counterpart in proper human history. With a crop like this, one could live their entire life without ever knowing hunger. And if you never had to worry about food, you'd probably never think to take it from someone else. There is no economy here. No division between rich and poor exists. And we have all seen for ourselves how ignorant they are of war and violence. It seems that life here is far as removed from the suffering that one might expect in our world as it is possible to imagine. And when their life has run its course, this drug puts them to sleep permanently, well before they can begin to feel the pain of old age. I dare say that, if nothing else, this world has done a frighteningly effective job at removing pain and suffering from people's lives. But that's no way for people to live. They're practically being kept as livestock. So this is how Qin Shi Huang, how that dictator decided to solve humanity's suffering. Makes sense. No way a leader who abandoned their own humanity would in turn treat their subjects like people. As far as making a decision between this Lostbelt and proper human history, Spartacus claimed that we should fight to determine which should be allowed to survive. If hearing that gave you pause, I will urge you to give the matter more thought, keeping what you now know about this benefaction in mind. In this world, the definition of a happy human life is exceedingly simple. Seeing as you will need to make this choice sooner or later, I think it's best I suspend my usual behavior in favor of full disclosure. Allow me to share with you some speculation. Do keep in mind that this is not a deduction, but rather a bit of conjecture on my part. Holmes, this relates solely to one question, namely, why did the Spirit Urgent Graph fail to work with this Lostbelt's ley line? You think it has something to do with this medicine? That may not be directly related, but it does support my current hypothesis. Heroic spirits have always been one side of Alaya, mankind's collective unconscious. They are defined foremost by their purpose, protecting humanity. While there may be many different methods and conditions involved in summoning servants, the one thing they all have in common, without exception, is responding to the summoner's prayer. However, if there was not a single person in the world who had the emphatic need to pray for something, and if such a world had flourished unabated for hundreds of years, right, then it wouldn't be at all surprising if that world lost its connection to the throne of heroes entirely. For that matter, there wouldn't even be any heroic spirits in that matter, just like there aren't here. After all, every hero who might be needed to fight someday, like King Xiangyu, is still alive. So, this Lostbelt is a world that has no need for heroic spirits at all? Can you imagine a person wishing for
Okay. Can you imagine a person wishing fervently for anything in a world free from hunger, pain, and suffering must kill it? I know I certainly cannot. Indeed, it only makes sense that servants would never appear in a world where no one wishes for anything. Thanks for telling us this, Holmes. Whatever doubts I might have had are gone now. I will do everything in my power to take Qin Shi Huang down and put an end to this disgusting regime. As long as I get there in the end, I don't care how far out of our way we have to go. So right now, let's focus on curing Sulfrost. Now that I know where I'm going, I can wait as long as it takes. Thank you, Jinkei. Progress report?
We should finish a complete scan of the vehicle's interior by morning.
Good. Be careful not to overlook anything. Remember, the future of the Empire rests on your shoulders.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll go see how things are outside. The Shadow Border. The product of the world entirely different from ours, huh? Because the moon does not know how to train, my shadow merely follows the movement of my body. The moon has brought the shadow keep me company a while. The practice of mirth should keep pace with spring. What was that, young man? Oh, that's called a poem. A guy named Libai wrote it a long time ago. Who taught you that? Well,
We see King Xiangyu's investigation is proceeding smoothly. It feels good to have so much data moving among our circuits.
Do you think you will be able to analyze that otherworldly device, Your Imperial Majesty?
Who do you think we are? This holy vessel's full calculation capabilities can easily handle a single vehicle. Or so we thought. This is amazing. How could they fit so much functionality into these dimensions? It's hard to believe what we are seeing.
forgive the intrusion, Your Imperial Majesty, but there's something you should know.
What is this about?
The children in this village are reciting poems.
You're kidding!
When I asked them about it, they said they learned them from Chodea.
We see. Then Chodea are Confucians.
Yes, Your Imperial Majesty. This is undoubtedly the work of Confucianism.
Okay. Confucianism. Alright, I think I'm gonna have to end that stream. I'm feeling like fucking raspberrying out. So, tune out for that tomorrow. Continuing more of that SIN journey. And I'll see you in the next part of live stream. Peace out.